Hello, Dragonfire here, and it is time for another movie review. Yeah, we're going to review uh, the first movie in the Hannibal Lecter franchise. That is Manhunter. Manhunter. From the Hannibal Lecter franchise here. This is the only copy I have. It's part of this three video Blu-ray release of the original Hannibal Lecter trilogy with Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal. Um, so, the first one up there at the top, Manhunter, is the movie that we're reviewing in this first review. This movie came out in 1986. It is based off the 1981 novel called Red Dragon. It would later get remade as the movie Red Dragon, but the original version is called Manhunter, and you can see there Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal in this Blu-ray set. This is really a good movie. It has, I believe his name is William Peterson. You probably would recognize him from the original CSI. I believe he was on. He plays a cop on the original CSI. He plays like the lead investigator. He plays Will Graham in this movie. Of course, in the remake Red Dragon, Will Graham is played by Edward Norton, and of course, in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon, all three of those movies, Anthony Hopkins plays Hannibal Lecter. In this original movie, though, Hannibal Lecter is played by Brian Cox. I really think that this is a good movie, very stylized, very 80s. In its production and its feel, and a lot of things going on here. Very much 80s. I really like this version of Will Graham. This version of Jack. I can't remember his name now. Jack, the head of the FBI. The head FBI guy. His first name is Jack. Anyway, you have all the characters in this movie. You have Bernie, the guard at the psychiatric ward, played by a different actor in this movie than who would play him in the Anthony Hopkins trilogy, but the actor who played Bernie in the Anthony Hopkins trilogy does appear in this movie. He appears as a cop in this movie, and then later in Silence of the Lambs he would be recast as Bernie, kind of prison guard or loony bin guard. He guards Hannibal Lecter when he's in the insane asylum, the funny farm, the loony bin, whatever you want to call it. This movie really plays into the psychological trauma of Will Graham's character, which I think it's been a while since I watched the the remake slash prequel, the prequel to Silence of the Lambs, but all of Hannibal and Silence of the Lambs, but also a remake of Manhunter called Red Dragon. It's been a while since I watched that one, but from my recollection, I think that they handled the Will Graham character better in this movie. I also think that they um, uh, um, you know, do a lot of stuff that I really like in this movie. Now, of course, one thing that's missing is the iconic performance of Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, but I like the way that Brian Cox handles the character nonetheless. I One thing that I don't think is as good in Manhunter as Red Dragon is the romance between Francis Dollarhide, aka the Tooth Fairy, aka the Red Dragon. His character versus um, the way that the romance with his character, and I believe is her name Ruth, his love interest. Um, the love interest between Francis Dollarhide and Ruth. I want to say her name is Ruth. Anyway, I don't think it's handled as well in this version as in Red Dragon. I think Red Dragon, to my memory, and I'm going to rewatch that movie again, but to my memory, I think Red Dragon handles that part of the storyline better. Um, but I do like this version of the Francis Dollarhide character. I just don't like the way his romance with Ruth is handled. I think both actresses who play the Ruth character, the love interest for Francis Dollarhide, um, uh, portray being blind really well. I don't know if either one of them are blind in real life, although I strongly suspect that the one who played her in Red Dragon is not actually blind in real life. But as far as the one who played her in Manhunter, she might be. I don't know if she's blind in real life or not. I thought she did a pretty good job of playing a blind character, especially if she herself is not actually blind in real life, which I don't think she is, but I could be wrong about that. But I know I keep comparing it to Red Dragon, but there is one scene in Red Dragon in particular when you can really tell that the actress playing that character is not blind in real life. But for the rest of the movie, she does a really good job of pretending to be blind. But there's one scene in particular where you can easily tell that she's not blind. It comes towards the very end of the movie, so if you're caught up in the narrative of the movie itself, it shouldn't be too distracting and you might not even notice it because it comes at the end of the movie. But um, other than that one scene with her and Edward Norton at the end, her and Will Graham at the end, um, she does a good job of acting, of acting like a blind person, in my opinion. But anyway, back to this movie that I'm actually reviewing, the Manhunter. It's a really good adaptation of the book, to my understanding. Anyway, I haven't actually read the book all the way through. I started it one time and then didn't finish it. But yeah, if you're not familiar with Red Dragon, I definitely recommend giving it a try. Introduces the character of Hannibal Lecter, the first adaptation of the Red Dragon novel, which is the first novel that Thomas Harris wrote for the Hannibal Lecter franchise. Okay, the second novel he wrote overall, first one he wrote that really took off and Hannibal Lecter became the breakout character of his novel Red Dragon. and Manhunter is the movie based on that novel, the first movie made based on that novel. So, yeah, you get introduced to uh, that character. And so I'm going to put this video out on October 1st. So this is going to begin my Halloween month activities. And yeah, I'm first reviewing Manhunter, a really good movie. Give it a try. I think that it's a movie that maybe not a lot of people are familiar with because of um, the fact that it came out in the 80s and then it didn't become a big popular franchise until like 91 when Silence of the Lambs came out, and it's kind of been overshadowed by Anthony Hopkins and the TV series that came out later and stuff like that. But the first movie, Manhunter, is definitely worth a watch. So this is beginning my Halloween month. Happy Halloween, everybody. Dragonfire out.